Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Tony Soprano to defeat Bobby Baclieri. And I'm here to talk about the main event for UFC 285, Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. This is a super fight, in my opinion. I'd be saying that about any heavyweight near the top if he was fighting Jon Jones. But here, this one is extra super, in my opinion, because I think Ciryl Gane is the best heavyweight in the UFC. And I thought so even when Ngannou was still around, despite Ngannou having beaten Ciryl a year ago. I thought if all these guys stuck around and fought each other, once all the smoke cleared, Ciryl Gane would have proven to have been the best heavyweight. And he is the most difficult matchup for Jon Jones, above Ngannou, in my opinion. Maybe the only guy who's potentially more dangerous for Jones is Curtis Blades. But still, I think Ciryl Gane is a better fighter than Blades. If you don't believe me, go ask Derek Lewis or Ngannou. They'll tell you all about it. But anyway, despite all that, Ciryl Gane is still an underdog here because he's fighting the best of all time, in most people's opinion. And in everybody's opinion, he's one of the best of all time. Jon Jones. Never been defeated, aside from the one defeat, of course, by disqualification. And Jones, he's like the perfect fighter. I mean, he's excellent everywhere. I think he's even underrated in some respects. Jon Jones is not going to crack the top 5 toughest fighters list or anybody's most durable, most heart, any of this shit. And it's because she's too busy winning. He hasn't lost. And you know what? It is what it is. But I still think he's a little overlooked there because Jon Jones, anytime he's needed to show heart and grit and just overall durability, he's shown it. He's shown it. He's gritted it out, gutted it out. Typically, in any close fight he's had, he's been the one who turned it up down the stretch. And that, includes fights in which he was beaten up a little bit, like the Gustafsson fight, busted face. And he showed a lot of heart, bit down on his mouthpiece. I think Jon Jones is a true fighter. Vitor Belfort almost breaking his arm. He didn't stop, kept going for another few rounds, 3 rounds, and finally got him out of there with an Americana. And I think Jon Jones, there's nothing you could really doubt about him. You have to speculate. And I have speculated. I think maybe he's got weak legs because they're so skinny, and his body because he's kind of skinny. But now he's a heavyweight, so who knows? My point is, there's nothing you could really look to. You have to look to his close fights. And he's had 3 really close fights. Dominic Reyes, his last one. Thiago Santos, not long before that. And Alexander Gustafsson, UFC 165. All 3 of these fights were really close. The Gustafsson fight was maybe not so close, but that was a fight that was definitely a war, and one that Jon, had to dig deep, like I was talking about a minute ago there. But in all these fights, I look and I say, could Ciryl Gane duplicate their success? And I do think he could. I don't think he's going to fight exactly like Thiago Santos, because Thiago's a power striker. Ciryl Gane, ironically, you know who he fights like on the feet anyway? Like Jon Jones. That's really who he fights like on the feet. They're not exactly the same, but they have a lot of the same weapons, similar weapons anyway. And honestly, I think Ciryl Gane wins the battle on the feet. I think if these 2 guys fight for 25 minutes on the feet, there are no takedowns. Who wins? I'm very sure Ciryl Gane gets the better of Jon Jones. Jones does have like 3.5 inches of reach too, and these guys have similar height. But Ciryl Gane moves so well. He is a natural, big, strong heavyweight. Natural, though. He's very agile and mobile. He moves like a welterweight. And he can sit down on his punches if need be, And Ciryl Gane, he hasn't been tested too much as far as his heart goes, but the best test came in his last one against Tai Tuivasa. He was hurt, rocked visibly, knocked down, and he sat down and threw down. And then took over the fight after that. Well, he was winning before that anyway, but still, he started fighting longer, stabbing him in the body, and put him away in that same round, in round two. Ciryl Gane, he's there's no doubts with him either. I doubt some tactical errors maybe, because that's how he lost the one fight he did lose. Tactical error, going for that heel hook against Ngannou, inviting Ngannou on top of him after Ngannou just won 2 rounds, scratching and clawing his way back into the fight that Gane was winning. And Ngannou did that by getting on top of him. So I'm sure that moment has haunted Ciryl Gane, and I do expect stronger, better fighter IQ in this fight. If he's going to be fighting Jon Jones, you can't afford to make a mistake with him on the ground. Jon Jones won't let you up. Ngannou didn't either, but still, less of a risk with Ngannou. He went for a risk and it didn't pay off. Don't take that risk with Jon Jones. You want to fight more cautiously. But as far as it going to the ground, I don't know. I feel like Jon Jones's wrestling is dissipated over the course of his career. He was a much stronger wrestler earlier on, and his skills haven't dissipated. Just his prowess has dissipated as the competition got bigger and better. Not only did takedown defense evolve over the course of Jon's career, I don't even know if wall walking was a thing when he was the dominant wrestler. I really can't even remember. I know, when he won the title and whatever. But either way, there's been plenty of evolutions of takedown defense. And plainly speaking, as an MMA fan, I can say, a longtime MMA fan, takedown defense is easier than takedowns. You can get a blue belt in takedown defense, and, that can carry you to the top of the sport. I don't know how the fuck you measure a blue belt, but you know what I mean. You have to learn the wizard, the wall walking, like people learn takedown defense techniques and tactics. And it's good enough to hold up against top level wrestlers who they could never even compete against on the wrestling mat. But this isn't the wrestling mat. This is the fight. And I think Jon Jones isn't going to be able to dominate Ciryl with wrestling. I do think he'll be able to get him down here and there, but he won't be able to hold him down. His overall wrestling and grappling prowess has dissipated, and that was against light heavyweights that got bigger. He was dominant against the earlier generation of light heavyweights, even the legends deep in the first part of his championship run. But then once they evolved and he was fighting the Gustafsons and the Dominic Reyeses, the guys that could match his size and physicality, he was no longer as dominant. I'm aware he put Gustafson away in round 2. But still, if you've watched Jon Jones' whole career, I'm sure you agree with me. His wrestling prowess has dissipated relative to his competition. And still, nobody's able to out-wrestle him. It's not like he hasn't been in there with DC twice. Nobody's been able to out-wrestle him. I remember Gustafson getting him down, yeah, but Jon Jones has won the wrestling battle in every fight, and I do expect him to win the wrestling battle in this fight, too. It's just how strongly. I don't think he's going to be able to secure top position to really make the most of takedowns. I think there'll be opportunistic little moments. But in general, I think this fight's going to be fought on the feet, and I've got Ciryl Gane beating Jones to the punch and the kick. I think he moves better. He matches Jones in size. Giving up reach, of course, 3.5 inches of reach. But Gane's going to make up for that with his power and his functional movement. This guy is a big, strong heavyweight, but he wears it well. He's not somebody who's had to pack on 30 pounds, and he's got to figure out how to use it and worry about managing energy and whatever. He does have to worry about his own energy, but that's, just because he's fighting Jon Jones. In general, though, I think the longer these guys fight on the feet, the more Ciryl Gane pulls away. He's going to be stabbing Jones to the body. Maybe he'll be going with more of a power striking Thiago Santos approach to the legs, but I know he's going to be attacking Jones's legs, even if he goes Ciryl Gane style. I think he's going to out Jones with the side kicks to the legs, oblique kicks, and winning the stabbing battle, pretty much the jousting battle. So I've got Ciryl Gane winning. I really like his money line at plus 130. Of course, I expect this line to fluctuate even more this week. I don't know which way it'll go, but Ciryl Gane, I see value on him at plus 130 because gun to my head, he's my pick to win this fight. I've never picked against John Jones, and I've certainly bet on him, but I'm picking against him here. Although I'll be honest, after John Jones lost to Dominic Reyes, I said to myself, I think I'll pick against Jones next time, no matter who he fights, and regardless of where he fights, even if he fights at 185. I'm just not liking the way he's looking. And I haven't. His fights have been getting closer. But again, Jones, throw him in the middle of a war, and you're going to see a warrior. You know, he's got every trait. He's not by any means out of this fight. I'm just picking against him because I think Ciryl Gane is that, modern heavyweight. He is the new heavyweight, and Jones is going to run up against it here. So we'll see what happens, but I am waiting for the props. If I did have a gun to my head, I'd go Gane by decision because I don't see Jones quitting. And, unless if he gets finished, Jones, I think it would be strikes to the body or legs. But I know if something's not broken, he's not going anywhere. So Gane by the decision. By decision is the pick. Gane plus 130 is the bet so far. And when I make another video later in the week, if I have any new bets for this fight, I will let you know. But I really like Ciryl Gane plus 130. I think he's going to be the first guy to defeat John Jones. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.